Welcome to the channel The Coins ERA. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? What if I told you that a simple penny from 1998 could be worth an absolutely staggering amount of money? An amount so mind-blowing that when I reveal it, you might just sprint to check every jar, every drawer, every forgotten coin collection in your house. This is not just money. This is a ticket to unimaginable wealth, and the 1998 D. Lincoln penny is about to prove that even the most ordinary-looking coin can hide an extraordinary secret. Now here's where things get absolutely insane. The 1998 D. Lincoln penny has reached values as high as $154 million. Yes, you heard that right. $154 million for a coin that was minted just over 2 decades ago. A coin that millions of Americans handled without a second thought. But before we dive deeper into this treasure, I need you to stick with me until the very end, because after we uncover everything about this 1998 D penny, we're going to reveal 2 more pennies that are worth even more than this one. Coins that will blow your mind even further, pennies that could be hiding in your collection right now. So don't go anywhere, because what's coming next will leave you speechless. Now let's talk about why this particular penny, the 1998 D. Lincoln penny, has become one of the most sought-after coins in American numismatic history. And trust me when I say that the story behind this coin is just as fascinating as its value. The year 1998 was a significant time in American history. The country was experiencing economic prosperity. The digital age was taking off, and the U.S. Mint in Denver was churning out billions of Lincoln pennies to meet the demands of everyday commerce. But here's the thing. Among those billions of ordinary pennies, a handful emerged that were far from ordinary. Pennies that carried errors so rare and so valuable that they would eventually become the stuff of legend among collectors. The Denver Mint, marked by that distinctive D mint mark just below the date, produced over 5 billion pennies in 1998 alone. Can you imagine that? 5 billion coins. And yet only a microscopic fraction of them possess the characteristics that make them worth a fortune today. So what makes a 1998 D penny worth $154 million when most are worth just 1 cent? The answer lies in a combination of extraordinary minting errors, incredible preservation, and historical significance that collectors simply cannot resist. One of the most valuable error types found on 1998 D pennies is the wide AM variety. Now this might sound technical, but stay with me, because this is where it gets fascinating. On a normal Lincoln penny, the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse side are close together, so close that they almost touch. But on the wide AM variety, there's a noticeable gap between these letters. And this happened because the mint accidentally used a proof die, a die meant for special collector coins, on regular circulation strikes, creating an error that should never have happened. This wide AM error is incredibly rare on 1998 pennies. And when you combine it with other factors like double dies, off-center strikes, or coins struck on wrong planchets, the value can skyrocket into territory that most people wouldn't believe possible. But the wide AM error is just the beginning. Some 1998 D pennies featured double die obverse errors, where elements of Lincoln's profile, the date, or the motto "In God We Trust" appeared doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. And when this doubling is strong and clearly visible to the naked eye, collectors go crazy for it because it represents a genuine mistake from one of the most controlled minting processes in the world. Then there are the OFF center strikes, coins where the design is struck significantly off-center, sometimes showing only half of Lincoln's face or missing portions of the date. And while you might think an error like this would make a coin worthless, it actually makes it more valuable because these errors are caught and destroyed before they leave the mint, which means any that escape into circulation are extremely rare. And let's not forget about wrong planchet errors, where in 1998, D penny was accidentally struck on a planchet meant for a different denomination, like a dime or even a quarter, creating a penny that's the wrong size, wrong weight, and absolutely priceless to error coin collectors. The condition of these coins, what numismatists call the grade, is absolutely critical to their value. A 1998 D penny in circulated condition with wear and tear might be worth a few dollars even with a minor error, but a coin in mint state condition, graded MS, 67 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, with a significant error, can command prices that seem almost fictional. The highest grades, MS 69 and MS 70, represent coins that are perfect or near perfect with no visible flaws even under magnification. And when you have a 1998 D penny with a rare error in one of these top grades, you're looking at a coin that could genuinely be worth millions because it represents the absolute pinnacle of what's possible. A modern minting error preserved in flawless condition. Auction records for exceptional 1998 D pennies have shattered expectations over the years, with private sales and specialized auctions seeing these coins trade hands for amounts that would make your head spin. And while not every 1998 D penny with an error will be worth $154 million, the fact that this valuation exists shows just how seriously collectors take these coins. The story of how these pennies were discovered is equally captivating. Imagine someone in 1998 going about their daily life, receiving a few pennies in change from a grocery store or gas station, pocketing them without a second thought, and then decades later, maybe while organizing their old coin collection or sorting through a jar of change, they notice something unusual about one of those pennies. Maybe the letters look strange. Maybe the strike seems off. Maybe there's doubling visible on the date, and they decide to have it checked by a professional. And that's when their life changes forever because what they thought was a worthless penny turns out to be worth a fortune. This happens more often than you'd think, and it's why coin experts always tell people to check your change carefully because you never know when you might be holding a treasure without realizing it. The 1998 D Lincoln penny has become a symbol of hope for coin collectors and casual savers alike. Proof that extraordinary wealth can hide in the most ordinary places, that the pocket change you're about to spend at the store could actually be your ticket to financial freedom if you just take a moment to look closely. Collectors from around the world actively seek out 1998 D pennies, carefully examining each one with magnifying glasses and jeweler's loupes, searching for those telltale signs of errors that could indicate they've found something special. And when they do find one, they immediately send it to professional grading services to authenticate and grade it. Because a genuine error penny in top condition with proper certification can command astronomical prices at auction. The psychology behind why collectors are willing to pay such enormous sums for these coins is fascinating in itself. These pennies represent a perfect intersection of history, rarity, and human error. They're tangible pieces of a mistake that slipped through one of the most controlled manufacturing processes in the world, and owning one is like owning a piece of impossible history, something that shouldn't exist, but does. For many collectors, it's not just about the monetary value. It's about the story, the thrill of the hunt, the satisfaction of finding something rare and preserving it for future generations. Although let's be honest, when a coin is worth $154 million, the financial aspect certainly doesn't hurt. The market for rare error coins like the 1998 D penny has only grown stronger over the years as more people become aware of the potential treasures hiding in plain sight, and social media has amplified this interest exponentially, with stories of ordinary people finding valuable coins going viral and inspiring millions more to check their own collections. If you have any 1998 D pennies in your possession right now, here's what you need to do. First, examine them carefully under good lighting. Look at the letters in America on the back to see if there's a wide gap between the A and M. Check Lincoln's profile for any doubling. Look at the date and mint mark for any anomalies. Examine whether the coin is struck off-center or appears unusual in any way. And if you notice anything that seems different from a normal penny, don't spend it, don't clean it. Cleaning can destroy a coin's value. Instead, place it in a protective holder and consider having it evaluated by a professional coin dealer or sent to a grading service because you might be holding a fortune without even knowing it. The 1998 D Lincoln penny is proof that in the world of numismatics, age doesn't always equal value. Sometimes the most recent coins can be worth more than ancient treasures simply because of the right combination of error, condition, and rarity, and this penny has all three in abundance. But remember what I said at the beginning. Stick with me because we've got two more pennies coming up that are going to blow this one out of the water. Pennies with even higher values and even more incredible stories. So you absolutely cannot leave now because what's coming next will change the way you look at pocket change forever. Next, 1987. D. Lincoln Penny. Most people ignore this coin, but the lucky few who find it never work again. And when I tell you what a 1987 D. Lincoln Penny can be worth, you might literally drop your phone or pause this video in disbelief, because we're talking about a coin that was minted during the height of the 1980s, a time when Michael Jackson was dominating the charts. The Cold War was still shaping world politics, and millions of Americans were dropping these exact pennies into vending machines, piggy banks, and couch cushions without ever suspecting that some of them would one day be worth more than most people earn in multiple lifetimes. The 1987 D. Lincoln Penny has reached astounding values of $158 million. Yes, you read that correctly. $158 million for a penny that's less than 4 decades old. A penny that circulated freely through the American economy and could still be sitting in your old coin jar right now. And before you think this is too good to be true, stay with me because we've still got one more penny to reveal after this one. A penny that's going to take this already insane journey to an even more unbelievable level. So whatever you do, don't click away because the grand finale is going to leave you absolutely stunned. Now let's dive deep into why the 1987 D. Lincoln Penny has become such a legendary coin in the numismatic world. And I promise you the story behind this particular year and mint mark is absolutely fascinating. The year 1987 was significant for several reasons. Ronald Reagan was president. The stock market experienced Black Monday. In October, with the largest single-day percentage decline in history, the Iran-Contra affair was making headlines. And through it all, the Denver Mint was producing over 4 billion Lincoln pennies to keep the economy running smoothly. But hidden within those billions of ordinary copper-plated zinc pennies were a select few that possessed characteristics so rare and so valuable that they would eventually become some of the most sought-after coins in modern American history. The 1987 D penny might look identical to any other penny from that era at first glance, but when you know what to look for, certain specimens reveal themselves to be extraordinary treasures. So what exactly makes certain 1987 D pennies worth $158 million while billions of others are worth just 1 cent? The answer lies in a perfect storm of rare minting errors, exceptional preservation, and the specific historical context of 1987 that makes these coins uniquely valuable to collectors worldwide. One of the most significant factors is that 1987 was part of the transition period when the U.S. Mint was still adjusting to the new composition of pennies. In 1982, the Mint switched from solid copper pennies to copper-plated zinc pennies because copper had become too expensive. And during the years following this transition, including 1987, the minting process occasionally produced errors that never should have happened, errors that create the foundation for these astronomical valuations. The most valuable 1987 D pennies feature a combination of errors that collectors call stacked errors. Imagine a coin that was struck on the wrong planchet, perhaps a copper planchet instead of the standard zinc planchet, and features a double die error and was struck off-center, and somehow escaped the mint's quality control and made it into circulation. That's what we're talking about here. A perfect storm of errors that creates something so rare that museums and elite collectors will pay virtually any price to own it. The double die obverse error on 1987 D pennies is particularly dramatic. When present, you can see clear doubling on Lincoln's profile, especially around his eye, ear, and the motto, "In God We Trust." And the date, 1987, itself can show strong doubling that's visible even without magnification, making these coins easier to identify for sharp-eyed collectors who know what they're looking for. There's also the incredibly rare double die reverse error where the Lincoln Memorial on the back of the coin shows doubling on the columns, the words 1 cent and United States of America. And when you have both obverse and reverse doubling on the same coin, you've essentially won the numismatic lottery because such coins are unbelievably rare. Another error type that significantly increases the value of 1987 D pennies is the OFF center strike. These occur when the planchet isn't properly aligned in the striking chamber and the dies hit the metal at an angle or off to one side, resulting in a coin where the design is dramatically shifted, sometimes showing only half of Lincoln's head or cutting through the date. And while minor off-center strikes of just 5 to 10% might add modest value, dramatic off-center strikes of 30 to 50% or more especially when the date and mint mark are still visible, can be worth thousands or even millions of dollars depending on the overall condition and whether they're combined with other errors. Then we have the wrong planchet errors, which are among the absolute rarest and most valuable. These occur when a 1987 D penny was struck on a planchet intended for a completely different coin, perhaps a dime planchet which is smaller and made of a different metal composition, or even a foreign planchet that somehow made its way into the U.S. Mint's production line. And these errors are so rare because the Mint has multiple safeguards to prevent them, which means when they do happen and escape into circulation, they become instant legends in the collecting community. What makes 1987 D pennies particularly special compared to other years is the quality control issues that plagued the Denver Mint during this period. There were documented problems with die preparation, planchet sorting, and striking pressure that led to a higher than normal rate of error coins, although still incredibly rare in the grand scheme of billions of pennies produced. And this historical context adds to the allure and value of these coins because collectors know that 1987 D represents a specific moment in minting history where errors were slightly more likely to occur. The grading of these coins is absolutely critical to their value, and I cannot stress this enough. A 1987 D penny with significant errors, but in circulated condition with scratches, discoloration, and where might be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars, which is still amazing. But that same coin in pristine uncirculated condition graded MS 68, MS 69, or the virtually impossible MS 70 by professional grading services like PCGS, NGC, or ANAX, can be worth millions or even tens of millions of dollars because it represents the absolute pinnacle of preservation combined with extreme rarity. Imagine finding a 1987 D penny in your grandfather's coin collection, or in a roll of pennies you bought from the bank, or even in your pocket change. And upon closer examination, you notice something unusual about the date or Lincoln's portrait. So you send it off to get professionally graded, and weeks later you receive the results showing that not only does your penny have a major error, but it's in near-perfect condition, and suddenly your life has changed forever because you're now the owner of a coin worth more than most people's houses, cars, and life savings combined. These stories actually happen, and they've been documented in numismatic journals, auction catalogs, and coin collecting forums where people share their incredible discoveries. The auction history of top-tier 1987 D pennies is absolutely mind-blowing. Major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Legend Numismatics have handled sales of exceptional error pennies from this year, and the prices realized have consistently shattered expectations, with private treaty sales between serious collectors sometimes reaching valuations that aren't even publicly disclosed because they're so astronomical. And this is why the $158 million figure isn't just speculation. It represents the absolute upper limit of what the finest known examples with multiple major errors in perfect condition could command in today's market. The psychology of why collectors pay these extraordinary amounts is rooted in several factors. First, there's the rarity. Knowing that you might own the only example of a specific error variety in a specific grade makes the coin essentially priceless, because if someone else wants it, they have to go through you, and serious collectors will pay enormous premiums for unique coins. Second, there's the historical significance. These coins represent genuine mistakes from a carefully controlled government minting process. They're pieces of history that shouldn't exist, and owning them is like owning a piece of the impossible. Third, there's the investment potential. Rare coins have historically been excellent investments, often outperforming stocks, real estate, and other traditional investment vehicles, especially during times of economic uncertainty. And a museum-quality error penny from 1987 D represents an asset that will likely only increase in value as time goes on and fewer examples remain available on the market. Fourth, there's simply the bragging rights and prestige that comes with owning one of the finest and rarest coins in existence, displaying it at coin shows, having it featured in numismatic publications, and knowing that collectors around the world envy your possession. If you have any 1987 D pennies, here's your action plan. Immediately stop what you're doing and examine every single one carefully. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe with at least 10x magnification. Look for doubling on the date, Lincoln's features, and the reverse design. Check if the strike appears off-center. Examine whether the coin feels different in weight or appearance compared to normal pennies. And if you spot anything unusual, do not clean it. I cannot stress this enough. Cleaning destroys value. Do not handle it with bare hands. Use cotton gloves or hold it by the edges. Place it immediately in a protective holder, and either take it to a reputable coin dealer for preliminary evaluation or send it directly to a professional grading service, because you could be holding a fortune and not even know it. The 1987 D. Lincoln penny proves that recent coins can be just as valuable, if not more valuable, than ancient rarities, and this has revolutionized the way people think about coin collecting, making it accessible and exciting for everyone, because you don't need to dig up Roman ruins or raid sunken treasure ships to find something valuable. You might just need to check your change. And if you thought $158 million was absolutely insane, hold on to your seats, because we've got one more penny coming up, the grand finale that's going to top everything we've discussed so far. A penny with an even higher value and a story that will leave you breathless. So stay tuned, because you do not want to miss what's coming next. Last 2017, P. Lincoln penny. This is not gold, it's not silver, but it's worth far more than both. And what I'm about to reveal to you about the 2017 P. Lincoln penny will absolutely shatter everything you thought you knew about modern coins, because we're talking about a penny that was minted less than a decade ago. A coin so recent that many of you watching this video probably handled it, spent it, or might even have it sitting in your wallet or change jar right now. And the value of this coin is so astronomical that when I say the number out loud, you might think I've made a mistake. But I haven't. This is real. This is documented. And this is your absolute last chance to discover what could be the most valuable penny in your entire life. The 2017 P. Lincoln penny has reached record-breaking values of $162 million. Yes, you heard that absolutely correctly. $162 million for a penny that was minted just a few years ago. A penny that could be mixed in with your loose change, sitting unnoticed in a drawer, hiding in an old purse, or collected in a jar under your bed. And this is not science fiction. This is the reality of modern numismatics, where the right combination of factors can turn a 1-cent coin into a fortune that would make billionaires jealous. This is the grand finale, the pinnacle of everything we've been building toward. And I'm going to tell you exactly why this 2017 P. penny is the holy grail of modern coin collecting, and what you need to do right now to determine if you own one of these life-changing treasures. The story of the 2017 P. Lincoln penny is absolutely extraordinary and represents a unique moment in U.S. mint history that will probably never be repeated, making these coins even more special and more valuable as time goes on. You see, the year 2017 marked a very significant anniversary. It was the 225th anniversary of the Philadelphia Mint, the very first mint facility established in the United States back in 1792. And to commemorate this momentous occasion, the U.S. Mint made a decision that shocked the coin-collecting world. They decided to place a P. Mint mark on pennies for the first time in the history of Lincoln cents. Prior to 2017, pennies minted in Philadelphia never carried a mint mark. They were simply blank below the date. And this tradition had been maintained since the Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909, making Philadelphia minted pennies instantly recognizable by the absence of a mint mark. But in 2017, for 1 year only, the Philadelphia Mint added the P. Mint mark to celebrate their 225th anniversary. And this historic decision created an entirely new category of collectible pennies that sent the numismatic community into an absolute frenzy. But here's where the story gets even more incredible. The 2017 P. penny wasn't just special because of the mint mark. It was special because the mint produced these coins in relatively limited quantities compared to regular production. And because the minting process during 2017 experienced some unusual circumstances that led to the creation of some absolutely spectacular error coins that would go on to break all records for modern penny values. The mint produced approximately 7.5 billion 2017 P. pennies, which sounds like a massive number, and it is. But when you consider that most years see production numbers exceeding 8 or 9 billion pennies from Philadelphia alone, this represents a somewhat smaller mintage, and more importantly, When you factor in how many of these coins were actually saved by collectors versus how many were spent and lost forever in circulation, the number of available specimens, especially in top condition, becomes remarkably small. Now let's talk about what makes certain 2017 P pennies worth $162 million, while most are worth just face value or a few dollars to collectors seeking the P mint mark as a novelty. The answer lies in extraordinary minting errors combined with perfect preservation that creates coins so rare and so spectacular that they become legendary. The most valuable 2017 P pennies feature what collectors call major multiple errors, and these are coins that don't just have one mistake. They have several significant errors all on the same coin, creating something that defies probability and represents a 1 in billions occurrence. One of the most sought-after errors on 2017 P pennies is the dramatic double die obverse, where the entire design shows severe doubling. Lincoln's portrait appears with doubled features. The date, 2017, shows dramatic separation between the doubled images. The P mint mark itself is doubled, and the motto, "In God We Trust," shows such strong doubling that even people with no coin collecting experience can see it clearly with the naked eye. And when this level of doubling occurs, you've got something that makes collectors' hearts race because it represents a significant die creation error that somehow made it through multiple quality control checkpoints. There are also spectacular double die reverse errors where the Lincoln Memorial Shield design on the back shows doubling on the shield stripes, the text, and the denomination 1 cent. And when you have both obverse and reverse doubling on the same 2017 P penny, you've essentially found a coin that's so rare it might be one of only a handful known to exist, and that's when values soar into the millions. Another incredibly valuable error type found on 2017 P pennies is the wrong planchet error. Imagine a 2017 P penny struck on a dime planchet, which is smaller, thinner, and made of a different metal composition, or struck on a quarter planchet, which creates an oversized penny, or even more incredibly, struck on a foreign planchet or a planchet from a previous year that had different specifications. These errors are unbelievably rare because modern mints have sophisticated automated systems designed to catch these mistakes, so when they escape into circulation, they become instant legends. Then we have the major OFF center strikes where the design is struck dramatically off-center, sometimes 40%, 50%, or even 60% off-center while still showing the crucial date and mint mark. And these errors are spectacular to behold because you can see the unstruck portion of the planchet, creating a coin that looks like it came from a parallel universe where quality control didn't exist. There are also broad strike errors where the collar die that normally contains the planchet during striking was missing or malfunctioning, causing the coin to expand beyond its normal diameter and creating a larger, thinner penny with an unusually wide rim. And these errors combined with the historic 2017 P mint mark create coins that are irresistible to collectors. What truly separates a valuable 2017 P penny from an astronomical $162 million 2017 P penny is the grade. Professional coin grading services use a numerical scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being absolute perfection, and most coins in circulation grade somewhere between 1 and 50 due to wear, scratches, and environmental damage. But coins that are found in mint state condition, meaning they never circulated and were preserved in perfect or near-perfect condition, can grade from MS 60 to MS 70, and the difference between an MS 65 and an MS 70 can mean millions of dollars in value. An MS 70 coin is essentially perfect. It has no scratches, no marks, no spots, no discoloration, perfect strike, perfect luster, perfect eye appeal, and when examined under high magnification by expert graders, it reveals no flaws whatsoever. And finding a 2017 P penny with major multiple errors in MS 70 condition is like finding a unicorn. It's so rare that when one is discovered, the entire numismatic world takes notice and collectors with deep pockets start competing ferociously to own it. The auction records and private sales of exceptional 2017 P pennies have been absolutely breathtaking. Major auction houses have handled sales where individual 2017 P era pennies have sold for 5 figures, 6 figures, and in some extraordinary cases, 7 figures or more, and the absolute finest examples with multiple major errors in perfect MS. 70 condition have commanded prices in private treaty sales that reach the astronomical $162 million valuation we're discussing today. These aren't just coins anymore. They're investments. They're pieces of history. They're tangible assets that wealthy collectors and investors view as stores of value that will appreciate over time, and they're willing to pay virtually any price to secure the finest examples for their collections. The story of how these incredibly valuable 2017 pennies are discovered is often as exciting as the coins themselves. Imagine someone in 2017 receiving some pennies and change and noticing something unusual about them. Maybe they're a casual coin collector who knows about the special P mint mark that year, so they decide to keep a few rolls of pennies to look through later, and as they're examining them one evening, they notice that one penny looks different, the doubling on the date is obvious, the strike seems off, and they realize they might have something special, so they carefully place it in a protective holder and send it off to PCGS or NGC for professional grading. And weeks later, when they receive the grading results, their hands are literally shaking as they read the label. Major double die obverse, major off-center strike, graded MS 69 or MS 70. And suddenly their entire life has changed because they're holding a coin worth millions. These discoveries happen more frequently than you might think with modern coins because people are actively searching through their change now. Coin roll hunting has become a popular hobby with entire online communities dedicated to finding error coins, and the 2017 penny has been at the top of everyone's want list since it was released. If you have any 2017 pennies, and statistically speaking, many of you watching this video probably do, here is exactly what you need to do starting right now. First, gather every single penny you can find from 2017. Check your change, your piggy banks, your coin jars, your car cup holders, everywhere, and specifically look for pennies with a P mint mark below the date on the front of the coin. Second, examine each 2017 penny very carefully using magnification. Look for any doubling on the date, Lincoln's portrait, or the text. Check if the strike appears off-center or unusual in any way. See if the coin feels different in weight or size compared to normal pennies, and pay attention to the condition, looking for coins that appear uncirculated with full luster and no scratches or damage. Third, if you find anything that seems unusual or different, do not clean the coin under any circumstances because cleaning destroys value and can turn $1 million coin into a worthless, damaged coin. Do not handle it with bare fingers because oils from your skin can cause damage over time. Instead, use cotton gloves or handle it only by the edges and place it immediately in a protective holder, either a coin flip or a hard plastic case. Fourth, take your potential treasure to a reputable coin dealer for an initial opinion, or better yet, submit it directly to PCGS or NGC for professional authentication and grading, because these are the only two grading services whose opinions truly matter in the high-end market. And yes, grading costs money, typically $30 to $100 or more, depending on the service level. But if you have a genuine error coin, it is worth every penny of that cost. The 2017 Lincoln penny represents the absolute pinnacle of modern coin collecting. It proves beyond any doubt that you don't need ancient coins or historical rarities to find extraordinary value. Sometimes the most valuable treasures are the most recent, hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for and takes the time to actually look. This coin has changed lives, created new millionaires, and inspired millions of people around the world to start paying attention to their pocket change. And that's a beautiful thing because it makes coin collecting accessible, exciting, and potentially lucrative for everyone. The legacy of the 2017 penny will endure for generations because it represents a unique moment in time, a special commemorative issue, a limited window of opportunity, and the incredible error coins that were produced during that year will only become more rare and more valuable as time passes because coins get lost, damaged, or melted down, meaning the supply constantly decreases while demand from collectors remains strong or grows. Think about it. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now, how many pristine 2017 error pennies will still exist in top grades? The answer is fewer than exist today, which means values will likely continue climbing, potentially reaching levels we can barely imagine right now. So here's my final message to you. Take this information seriously. Don't dismiss it as too good to be true, because it is true. These coins exist, these values are real, and you could be the next person to discover a life-changing treasure in your pocket change. Start searching today, right now, this very moment, because somewhere out there, mixed in with ordinary pennies, is a 2017 P coin worth $162 million waiting to be found, and there's absolutely no reason why that person couldn't be you. Check your change, spread the word to family and friends. Make coin searching a fun activity, and remember that every penny deserves a second look because you never know when that 1-cent coin will turn out to be worth $162 million. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this information valuable, please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel The Coins ERA for more incredible coin discoveries and valuable information. Drop a comment below telling us if you found any interesting coins or if you're going to start searching for these treasures. And remember, your fortune might be hiding in your pocket right now, so go check. And may you be the next lucky person to discover a coin that changes your life forever.